Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
And this is Johnny Escott for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm joined by Australian featherweight sensation, Dana Coolwell. Dana, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm going good, mate. Thanks for having me. It's good to have a good chat.
Yeah, pleasure to
Looking
have you on,
forward to
mate. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, looking forward to having a good chat. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure, mate. Great to have you on. It's obviously you got a big win on the weekend. First one on Dazn. Quite a big fight, quite a big win. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, massive win for me. With the late opponent change and him being a completely different style, I did adjust a fair bit. But with it being on Dazn, it was huge for my career and huge for Aussie boxing.
So let's go back to where it all started. A young man, Central Coast. Tell us where it all began.
Yeah, but I started boxing when I was 14, about 10 years ago now. Originally, I was just playing footy, rugby league for the local club, and then I just wanted to basically get fitter, and I seen a boxing gym had open up. I was always sort of a fan of the sport, but then it wasn't until I actually started training there and sort of fell in love with more, started sparring. Then I finished my footy season and had my first amateur fight, and yeah, never looked back.
Obviously, you lost your father at a very young age, and you had tricky teenage years. Just talk us through those.
Yeah, it was hard growing up. It was actually just the year before I lost my father, before I started boxing. So I was in a bit of a rough stage in my life, I'd say, being so young too. And then finding the gym and Steve helping me guide me into the man I am today.
You obviously mentioned him there, Steve. You've credited him before for kind of turning your life around. Just how important was he in your life?
Yeah, very, like having that father figure or someone so young, like after just losing mine. I easily could have went down the wrong path, but having someone like that and boxing as well definitely helps a lot.
And how, obviously, you're from an Aborigine background. What was that like growing up? Growing up as a youngster, obviously, it can be tricky for some lads and some ladies as well. But just talk us through how hard that was as a young man.
Yeah, that plays a role too. That's its own thing in itself. Growing up young, I was like, there's not many where I grew up. There wasn't many other Indigenouses around, but yeah, as I've grown older, I've sort of learned to separate, say like negative people in my life, and then take on the good with the good.
It's still obviously quite tricky being an Aborigine in Australia by the looks of it. Obviously, you see a lot of cases. Well, I say a lot of cases. You see a couple of cases in rugby league. It was Latrell Mitchell got racially abused. It was I think it was at Penrith about a few months ago, wasn't it? Maybe, or towards the end of last season. Do you experience those troubles still, sort of thing, or is that kind of in the past now?
A bit more in the past now. Like obviously, it's just who you run into, because not everyone's like that, and obviously there's still people out there like that. But I try not to pay too much attention to it because don't let it affect me. It seems like it's more their problem than it would be mine.
So what was it that first made you turn to boxing? Was it the death of your father, or was it just looking for something?
No. Yeah, looking for something new, I'd say. And I just wanted to try it because I was always sort of a fan and wanted to get fit mainly for footy, actually. But then, like I said, I just fell in love with it more and more, and then never looked back after actually having my first amateur fight.
So you're 23 years old. You fight for the Australian super featherweight title, and you obviously win the fight. Just talk us through that moment.
That was good when actually that was actually when I was 21. That was a few years ago now. Yeah. But anyway, I just came off my first loss in that fight, moving up a weight division. Just during the COVID period, couldn't get any fights, so I went up to lightweight to fight, and then came back down to super feather and wanted to fight Miles. They offered me the fight on 6 weeks straight after, and I wanted to take that fight because I wanted to win the Australian title. Obviously, it was huge for my career, and then ended up boxing really smart, boxing really well, and then finished him in the 10th. It was massive.
You obviously mentioned it there as well, COVID. How did that affect you? It obviously affected a lot of fighters globally. Did that have sort of a negative impact?
Yeah, a bit actually. Like the first year, when it was huge, I only got the one fight in, and I only just turned pro. I think that was my second year as a pro. Basically, was just training, doing nothing because he couldn't get fights. So basically, wasted a whole year. But then picked it back up because the next year after that is when I won the Australian title. So I got the traction back and started moving forward.
Last year was another big year for you. You became a father for the first time.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that. Just talk us through that and how it's affected your boxing career inside and outside of the ring.
It's actually helped me a lot. It's given me more motivation. It's helped me more so, I'd say, outside of boxing. Just making me wanting to be better each and every day, looking at my little son. And just adds fuel to the fire. Now that I got to provide for my little man. He's just over there playing, actually, enjoying himself.
Is boxing something you'd want him to get into the future, or Mrs. kind of ruled that out already?
Nah, I would never force it on. Nah, I wouldn't put it on anyone. Unless he really wanted to. I wouldn't want to coach him though. It'd be too hard to do the son coach thing.
You flew out to Dubai last year to fight Hasib, who's obviously quite a big prospect, still is. You got the better of him, quite convincing fashion. What was it like fighting away from home like that against someone who was I know he's not from Dubai, but the hometown sort of hero. He had a big support here.
Yeah, I take the experience from that. Like obviously going over there into his backyard, like he was from that area, trained there. I knew there wasn't going to be any favourite on my side, so I just had to go out there and make it very convincing, and I believe I did so. I boxed smart, and I was the aggressor. So taking all that as well as traveling and putting it all, it's just all experience, and I'll take it with me into the future.
Did you, in a weird way, prefer to fight away with less pressure on you than the home crowd, or did you realise you much prefer to be the home fighter?
It's hard to say now because I did enjoy actually fighting away, but yeah, and it's always good having been in the hometown, like having your family and friends there too. But they're both good. I'd say the more I do it, I'll be able to pick more because I've only really had the one. But yeah, I'll be able to make my mind up, I guess, the more I travel and more I fight.
Moving on to the global featherweight division, it's pretty packed at the moment. There's a lot of good fighters. Obviously, you've got the likes of Lee Wood and Josh Warrington, who look like they're going to fight. You've got Jazza Dickens defending his IBO world title this weekend. Yeah. It's a big division. Is there anyone you've got your eye on in particular?
Not necessarily, not just yet. Obviously, all the champions I'm looking at, just looking at the style. But anyone could change at any moment by the time I'm getting there. I still got a little bit of time before I'm up there. But yeah, I'm keeping my eye on all of them, all the champions, and the division. So I know, so I'm ready when I'm at that stage and at that level, so I can compete with them.
So what is the plan for the next 12 to 18 months? Are you looking at more titles? Are you looking at just progressing more in Australia? What's the plan?
Because originally I was supposed to fight for the Pan Pacific. That would have got me in the top 20 or top 15 ranking. So that'll be my next fight now. They'll get me that title. I think we're looking at October. I think that'll be in Australia and it'll be an international opponent. Not too many details just yet, but then after that, I could very well be traveling next year to fight like for these bigger titles, and that get me that better ranking, get me in that top 10. Then after that, and then within 18 months to 2 years, I could be looking at challenging for a world title, and that's what I want.
Do you think the help of Dazn, obviously they've had a deal with Tasman fighters, do you think that's really going to progress things for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's just puts more eyes on me too, and once I start getting these bigger fights and start performing well, it'll definitely help having all those extra eyes and bringing it more to the table.
Dana, it was an absolute pleasure to chat to you, mate. I'm sure you're going to have a big couple of years, and then we'll definitely catch up soon. Hopefully when you obviously pick up a title in October or towards the end of start of 2024. But thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It was great chatting, and look forward to more.
us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests, Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.